This video is brought to you by Law Excellence IAS Academy.
Dear students, good morning. Welcome to Law XRNT. Let us start the discussion on today's newspaper, that is 29th June 2019. The first article for discussion, even central banks need capital infusion. So this article is related to GS paper 3 economy. In this monetary and fiscal policies, that's where we can link it up to. To understand this article, we need to have a small background. That is, whenever money supply is increased, then obviously it increases demand for the goods, it leads to inflation. So increased money supply manifests as increased inflation. Then government has an instrument called monetary policy. So monetary policy is operated by Reserve Bank of India. Then RBI tightens the monetary policy, and by tightening the monetary policy, it decreases the money supply and also decreases inflation. So in this context, after 1990s, when the financial crisis existed among the developing countries, World Bank and IMF have prescribed an economic formula. These are centered around tightening of monetary policy and also fiscal policy. It means maintaining inflation within the limits and also money supply within the limits. These have become sine qua non with the macroeconomic stability. So macroeconomic stability is became synonymous with inflation targeting. It has got narrowly defined. The objective of the central bank, such as RBI, is to ensure inflation within the limits. This gave rise to a concept called as inflation targeting. In India today, RBI and the government of India, they sit together and they will determine certain range of the inflation. Let's take if it is between 4 to 6%, or 4% is been determined plus or minus 2%. That's what is the range within which RBI is expected to maintain the inflation. If it is crossing that range, it has to ensure tightening. If it is below the range, it has to ensure loosening of the monetary policy. Now, in this case, author argues this entire dynamic is changed. This deflationary macroeconomic policy, this entire dynamic is changed with the 2008 global financial crisis. So, this global financial crisis has squeezed out the money. Because of this, squeezed out the growth, and it led to the loss of jobs and it raised the unemployment. So, that's where the country started talking about expansionary monetary policy. If you see United States of America, Obama government, it has expanded its fiscal policy in such a way that the fiscal deficit almost got doubled. It also provided tax cuts and free money to the people to spend. So in these circumstances, the major lesson which we understood from 2008 global economic crisis is RBI shall also become an instrument for macroeconomic stability. The monetary policy shall be an instrument for macroeconomic stability. So in this, the author argues this: when the times change, the central banks also has to change. So if they are being stuck with the old norms and old theories, obviously they get irrelevant and it is not good for the economy. So if you can recollect, Mr. Shashikant Das, RBI governor, also has clearly stated that RBI has a greater mandate than inflation targeting. RBI shall focus itself on macroeconomic stability. This article is also in the similar lines. And the next is boost for Marathas. This is about reservations for the Marathas. Obviously, we can use this as opportunities, economic opportunities, and then political system. So obviously this comes under GS paper 2 polity, and then rights in this reservations, and also social issues, Indian society, empowerment through reservations. This is how we can put this topic as. Now let's understand. In India, the constitution provides for reservations to socially and educationally backward classes. In this context, certain politically strong groups in few of the states, let's take Kapus in Andhra Pradesh, Marathas in Maharashtra, Patidars in Gujarat, Jats in Rajasthan, all these have started agitating to provide for reservations to them. So they want to elaborate there economic and educational opportunities through reservations. Though these groups are politically powerful, they are not economically strong, especially after the reservations are being provided for BCs, SCs, and STs. There is a relative power distance which has decreased between these people. In this context, they feel a sense of loss of power to them. And second, these people are majorly land owning class. As agricultural distress has increased, this land owning class also has come into crisis. In this context, there is an increased demand for better outcome. There is an increased demand for better opportunity. So, Maharashtra has provided for 18% of reservations to this, and it was brought down to 12 to 13% in educational and employment sectors. So here there are two issues. In Indira Sahani judgment, the Supreme Court has kept the cap at 50%. So this cap is being breached now. And the second, are the politically strong communities are trying to convert their political muscle into economic opportunity. These two has to be clearly examined. Are there reason exceptional circumstances which demand extraordinary actions, as the Mumbai High Court has stated. Today, Mumbai High Court has upheld the reservations which were provided to Marathas under socially and educationally backward classes. A special class was created, SBCC. So the same section was used to provide for the reservations to the backward OBCs. So in this context, to what extent it will stand for judicial scrutiny, that we have to wait and see. And the next is primary colors. This is about United States of America's elections. So in USA, there are two major parties. One is Democrats and then Republicans. So the people who want to contest as a president from Democrats or Republicans, they have to go through a stage called primaries. So all the candidates of the Democrats, they can participate in these primaries, and there will be democratic debate among the candidates who want to contest. So similarly, this year, the contestants from the Democrats, they started participating in public debate. In this context, there are four major players. One is Joe Biden, who was the vice president during Obama era. The second is Bernie Sanders, who has actually fought against Hillary Clinton in the last elections with regard to primaries are concerned. And third are Kamala Harris and Elizabeth Warren. These are the four people. Now, what are the major issues that are being discussed? Trump was able to become the president with a xenophobic populism, especially on the basis of immigration, American wars, making the America great again was his slogan. In this context, Bernie Sanders was quite opposite to him. What he was talking, it is actually more socialistic than capitalistic. And it has also been stated that American capitalism today is under crisis. So in this context, healthcare in America is under dire necessity to be repaid. And the second thing, the immigration, America is said to be a land of immigrants who have added economic value to the country. Today, immigration is also under crisis under Trump era. And finally, American capitalism is under crisis because the American capitalism connections with the global capitalism are becoming weak and thin, especially because of unilateral actions by President Trump with regard to the trade relations. So, in this, again, Democrats, how they have to handle this crisis and what will be their points for debate that is going to change the world for future in 2020 elections. Things to avoid another water crisis. So this is about GS paper 3, and we have conservation. In the environment topic, we have conservation. This year I am expecting a question on water conservation in India. So remember, when Ms. Jayalalitha was the chief minister, she has brought in a law which mandated that every house, every building shall have rain harvesting mechanisms. But however, it was more neglected over the last decade. So that's why today depletion of the groundwater is an outcome of this. It is not just Chennai, either it is Hyderabad, Bangalore, etc. In the next one decade, we are going to see a severe water crisis. So by 2021 itself, almost in 12 cities, this kind of situation is expected to come up. So how it can be handled? So in this case, we can divide the issues on supply side management and the demand side management. So groundwater is to be regulated. It means that groundwater shall be created some price tag. When something is being charged, the people will value that as a resource. Today, a person who owns a building on the surface of the land also owns the groundwater under it. So, in this case, an indiscriminate use of the groundwater is happening, and then desilting of lakes, desalination plants, rainwater harvesting, all these can improve on the supply side. But however, behavioral change is essential on the demand side. So everywhere, in every apartment, every house, we have to create water meters. As like electricity is charged in India progressively, first 100 units you will get the lowest tariff, lowest slab, and then highest slab if you go on increase onto it. So the similar kind of slab based mechanism of charging the water shall come up with regard to groundwater and use in every apartment. And the next is, in the few days back, in live mint we spoke about water markets, water exchanges. In Australia, these water markets and water exchanges are tried. For example, if you save water and you can get the coupons for saving that water, which you can trade in the water exchanges and gain the money out of it. This is kind of incentivizing the people to save the water. That can innovative work can be supported. And the next is, commercial establishments, especially the industries, these can take a lot of effort towards conserving the water. So when Chennai is going through this water crisis, some 20 kilometers away from it, Sri Perambaduru, Varagadam, in this particular area, water crisis is almost absent. These are due to the precautionary steps, early steps which were taken by these industries. And the next is, if you go to Cape Town, to motivate the people to explain the people about the impending danger, they brought in a concept called Day Zero. What is this Day Zero concept? It means by what day the entire water in the city will get completed and there will be no water will be flowing from the taps. The day is called Day Zero. So it has motivated the people to save the water. So this is what has been stated. And the next, coming to Indian Express, the first is doling out quotas. What is the essence of this article? So quotas are not a permanent solution. So what we need is this symptomatic relief is replaced by permanent solutions. How can it be done? So we have to ensure proper security nets, safety nets to the people, and expand the access to education and other employment opportunities, provide for welfare benefits. Providing for the reservations is a temporary solutions to a chronic problem. That's how this article talks about. Remaining points I discussed with regard in Hindu paper. Death of an enterprise. Let us see, in India, after the LPG era, there is growth of industries across the sectors. Either you talk about vaccines, either you talk about IT, you talk about motor vehicles. Everywhere there are growth of industries after the LPG era. It was majorly due to unleashing of the animal spirits. What do I mean by animal spirits over here? Your gut feeling to do something, your ability to come forward and invest believing that future will be bright. This unleashing of animal spirits happened in 1990s during the Rao Manmohan Singh era. Now today if we see, everywhere we are seeing the failing banks, failing companies, etc. It means that is entrepreneurial journey of India is getting over? This is what is the question. Then what are the major reasons for this? One is double balance sheet syndrome. Obviously it has come from increased NPAs and weak environment for business in this country. Why did this weak environment has come up? Due to bureaucracy, and then due to various laws, especially anarchic laws related to environmental protection and all these things. It means labor laws, land laws, etc. has to be streamlined to provide for the right opportunities to the business. And then income tax laws, or income tax officials, and many other officers, they create bottlenecks rather than facilitating the business in this country. And after the Prime Minister Modi has come up, demonetization and GST, these have worst hit the business environment in the country. This is how we can put it as. And the next is the state of stability. This is about the financial sector in India. So till yesterday, we were worried about the banking sector. Today, banking sector NPAs are slowly coming down. And on the other hand, the major worry today is about non-banking finance companies. The debts of the non-banking finance companies and PS of them are increasing. In this context, there is a proposal that RBI should open a special liquidity window to provide for emergency finance to the NBFCs. But however, RBI is not ready for the same. So the financial stability report given by RBI, it clearly expresses that the country or NBFCs in this country are facing a severe crisis situation, and ILFS is an example for the same. The next, the ideas page in Indian Express, when we come over here, Rethink Poverty and Policy, this is the article. So remember, India is always projected as a poor country, and these are based on the absolute poverty statistics. And we saw the poverty in terms of consumption, food consumption. That's why how our food policy till date was, we wanted to keep the prices low so that the poverty will not worsen in this country. And who got worst affected because of this? This is the farmer. So this kind of view has to change. In India, poverty is fast declining. And if you even go by NSSO reports or Tendulkar report, based on that statistics, we can say that poverty in this country is coming down. And then the second thing, the direct benefits transfers were able to directly hit the poor people, and there is targeted delivery of the benefits to the poor people. And the next is, today government is talking about basic income guarantees for the poor and marginalized. Especially if you see Congress party was speaking about Nyay. The Nyay is about providing for assured monthly income to every household. So DBT, which has streamlined the service delivery to the poor, and basic income guarantees, these have ensured the reduction in the poverty. On the other side, the government, where it is getting its money from. Today, if we observe the number of people who are filing their returns and paying the taxes, that is, who are within the tax net, these have increased. So obviously, it is benefiting India. These are the articles for today. Thank you very much. Have a great day. All the best.